Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am so excited to film today's video and I feel a little strange being excited because it's just a video full of me talking about books that I didn't like, but clearly you guys kind of feel the same because I asked you guys if you wanted to see my favorite books of 2016 or least favorite books of 2016, and surprisingly the majority of you said least, although in a few days I will of course have my favorite books of 2016. Just as a side note, I got a comment recently saying something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm really glad you're posting videos again," and I kind of wanted to be like, I never stopped. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, YouTube has been kind of fucking up lately with our subscription boxes. If my videos have not been showing up for you or anything like that, make sure you hit the bell that's down there at the bottom that you can find. And finally, if you hear anything moving around or snoring in the background, Charlie, my dog, is behind us and clearly he's super excited for today's video. I'm not going to waste my time doing a disclaimer. You guys know we all like different books and none of us are right or wrong in that sense. So let's just go ahead and get into my least favorite books of 2016. Okay, so the first two books I'm going to talk about are ones that were very popular this year, and the first one is The Girls. Now, this is a spin on the Manson murders and the cult, and what the author did with the Manson murders and the cult overall was kind of unexpected. And what was unexpected about what she did and her twist on it was that she didn't really do anything at all. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that, and I am very interested. If you guys really loved this book, I would love to hear why, because I just personally found this book so bland. I didn't find any of the characters engaging. I didn't think a lot happened with the plot and the writing style. 50% of the time, I will say I thought the writing was beautiful and I could understand why people were kind of captivated by her writing, but the other 50% of the time, I just thought it was kind of overwrought and a little bit leaning on pretentious. Not saying the author is pretentious, of course, but just some of the writing just felt a little bit heavy-handed. So again, I want to hear why you guys loved this one if you did, because I was hearing, you know, when I would read Goodreads reviews, people were saying like I would read this on my way to work on the subway and I wouldn't want to get off. I was just riveted, and I was riveted by nothing in this book. Again, I don't think she's a terrible writer. I thought a lot of the writing was quite good, but I just did not like the story or characters at all. Next is a strange one because I thought the plot of this was super interesting. I thought the writing was very good and just such an interesting plot, and that is The Vegetarian. So I don't know if I was like sucking on Dayquil and that's why I was just so not invested in this book. And again, objectively, I think the plot was fascinating. It was about a woman who in Korea decides to become a vegetarian, and it's told from, I think it was 3 different point of views about the aftermath from what unfolds after her decision. And again, plot was interesting, writing was fantastic. So this just kind of goes to show how subjective reading experiences can be, because objectively I think this is an excellent book and I can fully understand why people loved it. But again, I don't know if I was just in a weird mood, which is why I wasn't interested in this book at all. So I honestly think I might go ahead and revisit this one again down the road. Next two, I'm not going to say too much because they were both in my least favorite thrillers of all time video, which I will have cards up above, I should say, for any reviews if I mentioned any of these books in previous videos. But both of these are thrillers slash psychological thrillers, and they both have to do with women who are kind of being attacked slash chased by slash kidnapped, all of that stuff, by their husbands slash ex-husbands. Actually, I don't even think I said the name of these books. It's Behind Closed Doors and Sweet Lamb of Heaven. Now, unlike The Girls and The Vegetarian, I have to say I think objectively both of these books are kind of bad. I go into great detail about why I disliked both of these in the video, which again I'll have linked above, but I'm just so confused how Behind Closed Doors, I'm pretty sure I saw on Goodreads this is like the top thriller or psychological thriller of 2016, which honestly just really goes to show that Gillian Flynn needs to write another fucking book soon. At this point, I think she's writing at a pace of like 1 book every half a decade, it feels like, but where are you, Gillian Flynn? Clearly we need you. The final book I was really not a fan of this year and was just kind of a letdown, although I did enjoy about half of it, was Bones and All. Now this has such an interesting premise because it's about a young woman who is essentially a cannibal. It's difficult to describe. She essentially just has this compulsion to eat people. Now when I finished this book, I felt kind of average about it. I was like, okay, it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. And then at the end of it, and please don't dislike this video when I say this, just hear me out and I explain it in my review, but the author states that the reason she wrote the entire book and what she's hoping the reader gets out of it is because the author is a vegetarian and she kind of wants people to recognize that, I guess, eating people is just as bad as eating animals. And here's the thing, I'm fully fine with authors talking about their intentions and why they wrote a book, and I have so much respect for vegans and vegetarians, so it's nothing about that, how I'm just automatically one of those people who dislikes people who have that kind of lifestyle. That's not it. I think the reason I was frustrated was on top of not really liking the book or feeling like it went anywhere, I felt like my experience with the book was altered just completely because suddenly I'm being told how I kind of should feel about the story and how it should impact me. And I guess this is just how my brain works, but I don't like being told that. I think it would have have had more of an impact if the author hadn't said that, and if instead I had finished the book, and at that point it kind of feels heavy-handed. So again, not saying anything anti-vegetarian or veganism or saying authors shouldn't talk about their viewpoints. I think if she were to talk about that in interviews or things like that, but I think just the fact we're told that blatantly right at the end of the book, it kind of just really messed up my experience of reading the book. Although I should say I think I'm talking a lot about that aspect, but overall I just thought the plot was quite dull. So I'm definitely not saying that that was the reason this book is on this list. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what your least favorite books of 2016 were. I'm gonna head off and film my favorite books of 2016 right now, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.